Update: am I the asshole for despising my mentally handicapped sister? I'm back like I said I would be. My original post got a lot of attention, and seeing as you guys seem interested, here's my update. Well, since that day I made the post, I've been staying with my grandfather. The week's been honestly a huge change for me, for better and for worse, but I'll try to run it down. I started by telling my grandpa the story of why I broke down the way I did, and to be honest, he seemed horrified. No one in my family knew my parents were using me as essentially a free care service for my sister. My grandpa told me some things that I don't feel comfortable repeating here, but in essence my sister is supposed to be getting care from a professional, and that my parents were ignoring that. Along with this, I was not supposed to be caring for her at all with her mental state, as apparently she is a danger to herself and others. With everything else I told him, along with stuff like the movie Indecent, he was really mad and told me to not contact my parents without him there. He pretty much told me that he would be meeting with my parents beforehand and that he was going to be there when I sat down with them. It didn't end here either. The rest of the week consisted of other family checking in on me and telling me things my parents hid from me. This included the fact that my parents have been taking money from family to fund a caretaker that doesn't exist. Suffice to say, this week has been rough. But the upside is that even through all this, my extended family has been giving me more love than I've felt in a while. My grandfather spent this last week making up for the time I've lost, encouraging me to spend time with friends and do things I want to do. My aunts and uncles have also been helping me through the week. Well, Saturday night I sat down with parents to talk. It went badly, to say the least. They came clean to me about everything. They told me things I will not repeat here. But they did not apologize. My parents still claim that I somehow owed my sister my time. My father even saying, "You were put here to be her caretaker." I won't lie and say I was composed. After everything I learned, I confronted them on the fact that my sister needed a caretaker, the money my dad was taking from his sister, and a few other things. They denied it or made excuses. And in the end, we ended off in a worse place than before. Today will be my last time talking to them for a while. After talking with my grandfather and uncle last night, I'm not going back. Later today I'm going there and picking up my stuff and moving in with my grandfather. When I graduate high school, I'm planning on leaving the state to go to school. My aunt has told me that the money she was sending my dad will instead be coming to me from now on. My parents have called me twice since Saturday. Neither of them were to apologize and only ask when I was coming home. I won't be going back to them. Right now I still feel pretty uneasy about everything, but I feel like that will pass. The rest of my family is showing their support to me, and honestly, it feels great. But in the end I lost my parents. Over all of this, I've learned something that I wished I saw earlier. I don't hate my sister. In fact, I love her with all my heart. I should never have projected my hate onto her. That was wrong, and someday I hope to make up for it. But for now I need to leave. So, there's my update. Thanks again for the support my original post got. I really appreciate everyone who took the time to comment or show me support. Thanks you. Edit: thank you all so much. I wish I could respond to every single one of you, but my lunch only lasts so long. I'll update tonight how the move out went, but until then, thank you all. I want to say that your support has been amazing and your kindness means more to me than anyone could ever imagine. Late edit: wow, I never imagined my story would reach the popularity it did. I know it's kinda cliche and I've said it 1,000 times, but thank you all. We just got back from moving my things out of my parents' house. Everything I wanted to take my grandpa and uncle helped move, and it's at my grandpa's house now. I have my birth certificate, social security card, and every other document and record I could think of. My parents were quiet the whole time I was there. Shortly after I arrived, my dad left with my sister, and my mom only hovered over us silently as we moved. It took a while, but as we left she broke down and told me she loved me and would miss me. I hugged her and said goodbye, and that was it. Even now I sit here and think if she really meant it. After this whole week of her not saying anything, she waited till the end. I hope she meant it. Right now though, I think I just need to look ahead. Maybe one day me and my parents can reconnect. I hope so. Thank you all for the advice and love. It's been amazing, and I'm glad that through this experience I at least got some positive out of this mess. Will I come back? I don't know. If something happens and you guys still want an update, I'll maybe come around again. But for now I'm going to move on. For all those out there who shared their stories with me, thank you, and I hope to see you on the other side. See you, Space Cowboys. Smile. Wow. OP's grandfather is a saint. Too right, my guy. The sad thing is that he should have had to be as kind and good as he was. The parents were disgusting people who robbed someone of the necessary childhood experiences and felt no remorse for it. Reminds me of my wife's parents in a way. She was groomed from age 7 onward to adopt her niece and nephew when she turned 18 because her meth addict sister didn't want them. She doesn't talk to her parents anymore. This happened to an ex of mine. Her stepfather was mentally and sexually abusive. She was never allowed to leave the house. She had to stay home 24/7 besides for school to take care of her little sisters. It's not like her parents weren't there, they just didn't want the responsibility. Me being a hot-headed 16-year-old, I showed up to the house and fought the stepfather. Cops were called, the truth came out on everything. They sided with me. She was put into a special home for a while until my parents were able to adopt her. We're not together anymore, but we keep in touch and the two of us will never not love each other. We just ended up not working as boyfriend and girlfriend. Edit, thank you to whoever gave me my first silver. That's a good story. Always nice to hear a story where the cops take the right side and not the side of the parents. Wait, you adopted your ex? His parents did, while they were together in order to get her out of danger. That's honorable and his parents are great people. Yes, I was 16 at the time, she was 15. Unless she wanted to live in the special home until she was 18. The only way out was for my parents to adopt her. I guess written down, yay, it sounds weird, I was technically dating my adopted sister. But it was the right thing to do. Eventually we did break up and she was still living with me. Yes, it was awkward, but we still love each other as family. We went through so much together. She's been moved out for a couple years now, but she still comes to visit here and there. She's like family now. She's not like family. She's your sister. I'm not making some disparaging incest comment. You dating and her adoption are two distinct things. So you didn't work out as boyfriend and girlfriend. Looks like you're working out as brother and sister. Good on your parents. r/wholesome incest? Finger hovers over link. Thank God that's not a sub. I don't remember how to link it, but r/subs fell for edit, well guess it's automatic. Risky click of the day. You and your parents did the right thing and I am proud of you people. Just the words of a stranger who cares about you too. His parents did, yes. So she ended up being his adoptive sister. Something bang bras. On the flip side, my husband and I are trying to get custody or guardianship or something so we can get my niece away from my meth and fentanyl addicted cousin. Her father, my uncle, has severe brain damage from an accident and my cousin lives with him. She's owed at least 3 times over the past year, and my aunt, cousin's mom, doesn't want responsibility for her granddaughter. My husband and I are the most stable, still poor, but we don't get in trouble or do drugs like the rest of my family, and we're the only ones our age who want kids, of the grandkids, and my mom just doesn't have the time, money, or energy to help. Somehow, even though we are persistent and kind, nothing is happening and this poor girl has to keep seeing her mom high or on death's doorstep. All we want is to get her into a loving home and get her the help she needs. My cousin might be a lost cause, but God, it kills me to know how easily this little girl can get caught up in the same shit. Not saying you should do different. More of just commenting on how screwed up families can behave. Don't force caregiving on those who don't want to do so, and don't deprive children of love for your own stupid bullshit. Make sure you and your husband file separate CPS reports, along with anyone else willing to do so. When you contact CPS, hold nothing back. State what you know to be true as true. No, maybe no, I think no, I've heard, simply this is exactly what happened. These children are in danger because XYZ. I am afraid for their life because XYZ. I made the CPS report on an old friend that finally got her kids taken away. Her family had been trying for months, but had not been so clear in their verbiage apparently and were hesitant to tarnish her name or come off as too extreme for the fear of getting in trouble or misleading. Not me. I didn't hold back a single detail, told them everything I had seen and everything I had heard. I had to fake my friendship with that abusive bitch and her psycho boyfriend because they were hotel hopping and prepping to leave the state to outrun CPS. They still don't know I'm the one who filed the report that got their children removed and placed with their grandmother. Just in case they somehow managed to get custody back, her family and I made sure she thought it was them who filed the report so that she'd still trust me and let me back in so I could keep an eye on the kids. Luckily it's looking like that will never happen because we're at 2 years later and they still haven't taken the necessary steps to get their lives on track. Whoa. Nicely done. I hope they've got a good life with grandma. They do. They opened up about a lot of awful things that no one knew was going on, but they're in therapy and living very full, very happy lives now. They probably don't give a flying fuck. They probably love that they don't have to watch the kid. It's sad, but it's probably true. She seems to genuinely miss the kids, he seems to miss the attention he got from being such a great dad by everyone he fooled. They both have a history of drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and domestic violence. When we were younger she just seemed very easily influenced and manipulated, and kind of dumb. I don't say that to be mean either, there was just always something missing in her when it came to common sense. As we've gotten older, I've lost my sympathy for her. You have to grow up if you have children, and the abuse she subjected them to is disgusting. She still defends her ex-boyfriend and the situation. She says the older kid liked it because she would antagonize her parents into fighting. The boyfriend would punish the kids by beating up their mother in front of them and screaming, "This is what you're making me do, are you happy?" Which I didn't know until after they were taken away. I truly think there's something wrong with her, something that makes her lack a lot of really basic human understanding. She's diagnosed bipolar, but I know plenty of people on that spectrum, and it's not the same. Like she just can't get through her head that some things are bad or inherently wrong. Is your wife okay? Parentification can be a bitch to work through. Some days are harder than others, but overall she's okay. Yeah, I feel really bad for OP, it broke my heart when he talked about how all his toys got wrecked and no one cared. Another angle that I'm not seeing being discussed, OP's sister is being robbed too. If the parents were told she needs a caretaker, then she needs a caretaker. Maybe she would be able to make some improvements if she was working with a professional. I get that she's low functioning, but it's possible that she can sense the animosity OP was beginning to feel toward her, which is not his fault. Which could cause her to lash out more. I have a severely autistic cousin, he is verbal and doesn't need 24/7 supervision though, and he has a loving family who is always there for him. I wonder how lost he would be without that support system. OP's parents obviously don't care about their autistic daughter, if they did they wouldn't push her off on a teenage brother who obviously isn't capable of handling that responsibility, or use her to scam their family. I just hope she will be okay. What are the parents going to do with her now that their free babysitter and money are gone? Are they going to pay for a professional caretaker themselves, or just neglect her? OP, if you see this is not a guilt trip, but someone in your family should keep tabs on what's going on with your sister. It sounds like she may be better off in an institution than with parents who obviously can't or aren't willing to give her the care she needs. There was a heartbreaking story on NPR yesterday about a family with a low-functioning autistic son. Unlike OP's parents, they truly loved and cared about their son, and because of that they resisted putting him into a care facility. They didn't want to abandon him. They didn't want to feel like they were bad parents. Their son hit and bit and broke everything. For his own safety, and theirs, they had to remove everything except a mattress from his room. For 13 years, his mother did not have a night of unbroken sleep. In the interview, the father described his feelings when they left their son at the facility. That his son probably couldn't understand how hurt they were, how much he hurt them, and how sorry they were. He only knew that the only people in the world that he ever truly knew were leaving him, alone, in a strange place. He also describes the first home visit after that. How their son walked into a house that had changed so much while he was gone, but he didn't melt down. He was calm and happy. The care facility gives him appropriate activities throughout the day so he's never bored. They take care of him. As his father drove him back to the facility, he played a kind of game, where he says, the letter D. And his father responds, and D is for dump truck. And then he said, and D is for daddy. Unconditional love, this American life. The parental home is not always the best place for disabled people. Residential facilities have 24-hour staffing and multiple support professionals dealing with each person. Way more structured, supervised, and informed than most families can manage. After 30+ years working in the residential support field, I can say that all of the people in my particular program are better served and have better quality of life than they would have at home with their parents. I don't have nearly the same level of experience and knowledge as you, but I worked in a care home for a few years and that's what I saw, too. It really changed my perspective on them, which wasn't that great when I took the job. I saw several new clients come in and have dramatic positive changes in a very short time. Parents just often aren't equipped for these situations, especially as the kid gets older. Also, at the end of the shift, residential staff can go home and rest, recuperate, whereas parents can't. Even when their child is asleep, they will still be on high alert because they have to be. Years and years with no rest and no time to relax is enough to permanently damage a person mentally. We're not built to cope like that. Fuck man, are you trying to make me cry? God, why? That tears me up, but it makes me happy to hear that things seem to go well after putting him in the facility. I can't imagine what a difficult decision it would have had to be for them, but hearing he's well taken care of and happy is heartening. It or how old the sister is, but CPS or APS or the local equivalent if there is one should be alerted to her condition. Since she is 6 years younger than OP and OP is still in high school, it would be CPS. This is a case of medical neglect. She needs to have a trained caretaker. Yes, this CPS needs to be called here. Post says 12. I didn't look back at the original one. Either way, all it changes is whether it's adult or children protective services because she certainly would apply for protection by APS if she were older. She. OP is female. As a person with autism, this post made me ear up a bit. Thank you. Yeah, definitely I agree with this. I work as a behavioral interventionist doing ABA therapy with autistic children, and we basically just teach them basic life skills and small things to adjust negative behaviors. Plus sessions run between 3 to 5 hours so the parent has some free time as well. It's all covered through insurance. Lots of ways to manage things like this. Raise your kids, spoil your grandchildren, spoil your kids, raise your grandchildren. Thank you for this quote. While simultaneously robbing the other child of the professional care she needs. And robbing other family members of money for said professional care and using it for something completely unrelated. On the other hand, if they hadn't done all that, then they would be robbing us Reddit users of this great story. They were robbing 2 childhoods after all. OP's sister probably isn't feeling well in that situation as well. Children like her need professionals to learn some basics the way they can, and the basics they can learn about communication, interaction and consequences. It's difficult to teach it, and I'm shocked to see that the parents didn't get professional nurses after all. Yeah, the grandpa sounds really level-headed considering he just found his kid and kid-in-law are scumbags. Makes you wonder how his kid turned out so shitty. Some people are just shitty and no amount of parenting can change that. This point cannot be more true. After I read that story with the guy whose son raped his mom and drove her to suicide, I realized that even if I was the greatest dad in the world, my son could still be a complete psycho. Link, https://www.reddit.com/r/offmitches/comments/1jtv/I_proud_of_my_son/. Holy shit. How terrible. Seriously, I struggle to read through it even today. I can't get past she killed herself a year later. To rape your own mother, sober, zero remorse. What a psychopath. Just awful. And boasts later that she liked it. Vomiting face, vomiting face, vomiting face. Not sure if you know this, but this story has repeatedly been pointed out as fake. Not sure if it's fake or not, but take from that what you will. Why do people think it's fake? I just read it for the first time and it seems incredibly made up, doesn't read like a real story. His friends have the most intelligent and lucky kids ever, all becoming doctors and musicians and actors. If someone raped your sister and she killed herself over it, would you take the kid in and defend him when he managed to slash someone's tires and pickpocket you without you realizing? You'd be surprised. You have to deal with a psychopath capable of charisma and knowing how to exploit every weakness that comes with being a feeling human being. Before you see yourself in the father's or aunt's shoes. I thought people like that were stupid or foolish until I dealt with one. Conniving predatory monsters they are. Yeah, I doubt someone would make something like this up just for dank internet points. I think because these kind of situations are exceedingly rare, and exceedingly easy for people to make up and write about on the internet. Like it sounds like a creative writing exercise more than anything. Other than that, I can't remember the other criticisms of it. Holy fuck. That was hard to read. Some kids are just shitty. You can be a great parent and still have a shitty kid, or you could be a bad parent having a good child. On top of that, the grandpa only raised one of them, could have been an okay person then met the other. On top of that, more recent studies have shown that it can be third hand. Both the mother and father could have been okay, then one of them started a new job and work in close proximity to a shitty person. Then the one not even working with the shitty person can start picking up the shitty traits of the shitty person completely by proxy. Heard it on a podcast's new segment, so probably full of shit. Research also suggests that a child's friends/peers influence them as much as their parents in developing personality and success outcomes. Could have been the spouse changing them. Yes, and her parents sound like reeled bag. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button for more content. I post every day, and I'll see you next time with more stories.